We're back. Third Sunday in a row. Let's keep it going. Today, I want to get this block completely tore down. We need to get this head off. I'm gonna take the turbo off with it. That was actually pretty easy. That way we can kind of disassemble everything on the ground over there. My plan and goals for today will be to get this head off and hopefully flip this over and pull the oil pan off. I'm just really curious to see what's going to be in the bottom of this pan. Check the oil pickup to see if there's any type of metal shavings or anything crazy like that. If it's completely clean under there, I think what I'm going to do is just end up using this block without opening it up, maybe doing some head work, but we can talk about that. Towards the end of this video, I've kind of just had some thoughts this week. Curious what you guys think. If you want to leave some comments down below. But we're just going to jump right into the time lapse, get this head pulled off, take a look and see what this bank looks like, and hopefully get this motor fully torn down. So next week we can actually start cleaning things up and putting things back together. At least from the engine standpoint, we do still need to drop the rear subframe. So next week, it might be up in the air. But this should be the last week of engine disassembly for a little bit. I appreciate you guys sticking with me and checking these videos out. Even though like the past 3 weeks probably could have been put into one 10-minute video. But I've been enjoying making the videos every week. But let's get to it. Let's get into it. All right, valve cover is off. We have most of the things disconnected for the turbo, oil feed. You can see we added some more fluids to the ground here from the coolant feed to the turbo. This underneath the valve cover is looking pretty good. I'm actually pretty happy to see like these cams look really good. There's like no gunk at all in this head. Definitely giving me some hope for what the bottom end of this motor is going to look like. This car was maintained very, very well. The previous owner had like an entire binder full of stuff, and they even actually had the timing done pretty close to when I had bought it. So everything was pretty maintained. I mean, these are some good looking cams. I'm not going to lie. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I'm not really seeing any crazy wear or anything like that. It's looking really good. So I don't know, we'll have to take a look at some things and get some second opinions, but feeling pretty confident with this motor for the first kind of stage for this S4. But let's quit yapping again and get this head taken off so we can flip this motor over and keep disassembling. All right, so we are hitting a few snags on this side. I had to stop the time lapse there because I've been down here for like an hour or so. But the main thing we're running into is this main water connector here is blocking this head from coming off. I was hoping I was just going to be able to, you can see it's kind of press fit here, and then it wraps all the way around the water pump. So I had to pull the timing sprocket off, timing cover off. Had to take the power steering pulley off, which all of this stuff has to come off anyway. It's just taken me a little bit of extra time just because I've never tore this specific motor down. But we're gonna go ahead and pull the water pump off, and that should free these hoses to just kind of come out and over, and then we can pull this head off and keep some things going here. So let's see. All right, we are down to almost a bare block. Look how small this thing is after everything's taken off the sides. It's so skinny, so crazy. All right, so yeah, it's a mess. Look at that valley. Everything looks good in the cylinders though. Like you can still see the factory cross hatching there. I haven't really shined a light in these ones yet, but I'm just moving along. I'm hoping and praying that extra oil kind of pulled up in there was probably just from the car sitting and the turbos being blown, recirculating oil from the intake side of things. And I mean, when I took the intake manifold off, there was oil in there. So that's what I'm hopeful is going to be the case. Hopefully we don't pull this lower pan off and find a bunch of metal shavings or anything too crazy, but I'm feeling good. We got a little bit of nasty right here just from probably water being used in there instead of coolant, but that shouldn't be too big of a deal. Everything seems to be pretty clean passing through there. So I'm gonna drain the oil out of here and then we're gonna flip this over and see if we can take the bottom pan off and just kind of get a little bit of an inspection. And then next week we should be tearing down these heads and getting everything in order, see what we're gonna do. So let's keep moving. We actually still have our ECS Tuning magnetic drain plug in here, which is pretty cool. Doesn't look too bad. A little bit of buildup on there, but nothing too crazy. All right, we'll let that pull out. Oh no. All right, so we got it flipped over here on its head. Ended up actually dumping out a lot of the crap that was in the middle of the valley of the motor, and then including a lot of oil that didn't end up draining out. But we got our ZEP absorbent getting to work there. We'll get this cleaned up. All right, it's a moment of truth. We're gonna pull this pan off here. Do you guys hear that? Look at that. All right. All right, so we got the cover off. I am impressed. Look at that pickup tube, spotless. Got a little tiny bit of, burnt on deposits there, but I mean, I'm pretty sure this thing's probably been sealed up for the better part of 20 years. So I mean, I don't know, guys. I'm thinking we leave this bottom end alone. Let me tell you what I'm thinking. I think we leave this bottom end alone, get the heads cleaned up. I'm not sure really 100% what I want to do with that. Maybe go the whole 9 yards with the heads at least. Leave the bottom end alone. I mean, this looks really, really good. I'm going to probably post this on the forums and get some second opinions, but probably leave the bottom end alone. KO4s, mild KO4 tune. You know what I'm talking about, like 300, 350 wheel horsepower, something like that. Just for the first iteration of this car. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a process that deserves some time and respect and just kind of like experiencing the different things that this platform can bring. I think waiting, with everything that I would need to do to take this further, RS6 turbos, possibly single turbo. I mean, you're talking sending the block off to get built, bottom end built. I mean, with the time that I have to work on the car now, I think we just need to be realistic, and that's something that can come down the road. So I think leaving this as is, cleaning it up, cleaning the heads up, getting some KO4 turbos, and putting it back together. I like that as a plan. Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you tuning in for another Sunday in the garage. We'll hopefully have another video out next Sunday. I'm probably going to have a little bit of extra time this week to kind of come down here and work on these heads. That way I'm not working on the car and editing the video in the same night, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm excited to kind of tear into these heads and get these beat up turbos and manifolds off and just get the heads broke down to just where they're by themselves, and then we can kind of go from there. It probably would make a lot of sense to at least tear these down and put new lifters in them, you know, send them somewhere local to just get cleaned up. That way we're not worried about anything crazy. We can put new springs and everything in, just at least get the heads good to go. That way we can kind of run a conservative tune with the KO4s and really beat on it and not really have to worry about anything. But from my research, this bottom end should be good to go. And I really wanted to crack it open, because if we had globs of sludge built up and we had crazy material in the pickup tube here, but I mean, this looks like a brand new motor on the inside. So I think we should just respect it and leave it as is and just run something conservative. I'm not going to try and get 400 wheel horsepower, 450 wheel horsepower out of these stock blocks, even though you can. Let's just respect this motor that's ran for this long and looks this good. And maybe in the background, when we get everything put back together, we can build a motor for that. But I'm excited, guys. I appreciate you tuning in. We're still a ways out from driving this thing, but I am excited to keep moving here. Every week by week, we'll put it together, and I'll see you guys on the road, hopefully at some point. But I appreciate everyone tuning in, and I will talk to you next week.